Welcome back to game two of this best of three set between Asia champion Panzer VOR and Russian CIS second place team Smile as we head to Trap. VOR coming to the dance with Ohio Kremlin, Triple Moskva, Stalingrad, fronted by Daring Marceau and Shimakaze. Stats, what has Smile brought?
Smile going with a slightly more mobile team. They've got Montana, Ohio, Triple Nevsky instead of Triple Moscow with the Daring, Marceau, a Kaba, and a Yang. So quite different lineups here. So we've got the Ohio and the Kremlin, maybe a little bit more brawly. Montana, Ohio, maybe a little bit more ranged. Nevsky a bit more mobile. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two teams face up against each other with those lineups.
If I strain really hard, I feel like I can hear the Soviet anthem in the background, Stats.
It's starting to feel a little bit like
There
that.
is a whole lot of Russian cruiser in this game. Let me tell you, every cruiser on the field, a product of Russia. Well, yeah, looking at the kind of early spawns here, of course, we've got the Marceau ducking into B. He'll be opposed by Smiles Daring here in just a moment. VOR opting for a bit of an even split, kind of, sending 4 ships south, 3 north, and 2 center.
Unlike Smile, who have the 3 Nevskys in formation with that Smoke Yang. I'm assuming it's a Smoke Yang. So you've got that triple radar, ultra good DPM of the Nevskys and the Yang. That's going to be... Right, so let's move over to see who's going to die in the face of that. It's Renegade. So I wouldn't want to be Renegade right now in about 2 minutes' time.
Smile just very much opting for a massive A push. You're sending both battleships down that flank as well. You generally don't see teams do this on Trap.
No, and like I was saying on the last map, with these diagonal maps, which are very, very long, if you decide to do this and you take all of your like heavy team to one cap, you then have the rest of your team, which in this case will be 1 Daring, 1 Kaba, and 1 Marceau, facing off against the entirety of the rest of their team. So you have pretty much no map control of the rest of the map, so you have to be very quick pushing through that heavy cap, the A cap here in this case, if you're Smile, and then getting on towards the rest of the map. But the problem is, they're facing a Kremlin and 2 Moskvas. So while they may win that gunfight, it's going to take them quite a long time.
Something else I want to talk about briefly before we get too far into the action. Have you ever seen a Khabarovsk in King of the Sea until today?
Yeah, we did see, I think, a couple during EU. They're certainly not very common, and if I remember correctly, certainly haven't been very effective so far. I'm kind of struggling to think why you would bring a Kaba instead of Marceau, perhaps? I mean, Kleber is banned for this series, so that might explain something. But yeah, I mean, presumably it's a heal Kaba and not a smoke Kaba, so it does have that going for it. It's got the great Russian guns, but honestly, I'm kind of surprised to see it. We'll see what they do with it.
I am very curious to see what they're intending to get out of that ship. Now, looking at them stats from VOR's perspective, they're just now catching sight of the Nevskys down on the J line. They don't know what's opposing them at the A spawn just yet. Like I said, they've just caught a glimpse of a couple of the ships. The Yang smoke now going up, starting to block some of that vision.
So I've switched over quickly to the VOR view here, so you can see what they can see of Smile, which is not a whole lot. They can see Stepan and Max here. They can't see the other Nevsky, and they certainly can't see the Yang. So we'll see how they deal with this. The Nevsky's turning to kite against the border. So they will be using that border just to make it a little bit more difficult for VOR to aim as they return fire and focus on what looks like the Kremlin so far.
Well, critically to me, the other thing is that at the moment, VOR does not know that both battleships are down there as well. They haven't pulled the trigger. They haven't been spotted.
Yeah, that's true. These battleships may well be holding their shots until they essentially lull one of these Moskvas, probably YBB, into a full sense of security. The Moskva gives a little bit too much angle, and then both battleships unleash their devastating AP on its broadside. So let's watch out for that. Ohio's certainly aiming in that direction.
Now, of course, with all that said, when you look at things from Smile's perspective, at the moment, because the Yu Yang had to turn around, lay smoke, and is now reversing backwards. They don't really have good vision either. They can't see any of those ships at the A cap.
Having said that the Ohio is aiming at the Mossad, actually the Ohio has switched its aim to the Stalingrad above B. And now back again. It looks like they're kind of trying to decide who to actually put these shots in at.
I think as I'm watching this A flank unfold stats, they've turned the Nevskys around, they've turned the Montana around. It's almost like they mean for this to be a kiting flank. Like they expect a massive push through A, and they're set up to just punish it as it materializes. But it doesn't look like, I mean, VOR's obviously not going for that right now.
No, I think you're right with Smile holding the shots on these battleships. It was almost like, hey, you know, we'll wait until one of you guys pushes what you think is a light flank, and then we'll just annihilate you as we all suddenly fire on you. And that just didn't happen. So they've now turned them around again. So you've got Max and Ryder and Stepan here all turned around again. Maybe they'll actually try a push. The Ohio is just starting to move forward. I think John
seems like that might be the play.
But whatever it is, they need to do it quickly because there's 3 green caps right now.
Yeah. Both Smile battleships haven't opened up on Dark Temple Stalingrad, so VOR's now well aware of where those ships are. They should be able then. If I'm looking at things from the VOR perspective, they know now all of these ships are down at the A cap. You should be focusing on bringing that Ohio and that Moskva right through the C cap as quick as you can, because VOR owns all the caps. Smile needs to, start. I mean, it's not a huge gap. There's only 7 minutes gone, but still, you don't want to let this game run away from you. We saw what happened last time when Smile pulled the exact same trick in reverse and did it to VOR. You really put VOR on the opposing team on the back foot when you've got that kind of a lead.
Okay, so we just saw some focus on Yanea in the Kremlin there, but over on the B cap, we've got the Daring and the Kaba pushing Classic Noun's Marceau. But Dead is absolutely paying for that, down to 9-1 there, although, of course, Daring does have a heal. Which is just running now.
Classic knows where the Daring is, but I don't think he knows where the Habarovsk is. And I think he's about to find himself pincered by a Daring at his stern and a Kaba on his starboard side.
Yeah, and it's only the Stalingrad there to support, really, so there's no other ships really within effective range. And Dark Temple's guns are actually on the wrong side to shoot the Kaba, so pretty much a green light here to pincer Classic Noun.
Indeed, a very bold destroyer push here at B. Looks like it might pay off for Smile. It hasn't yet, but it's shaping up that way.
So Dead throwing torpedoes towards Classic Noun to push him out, and then the Kaba catching, essentially.
Yep.
But the Marceau can still put out some shells. So.
Right. Now, see, the one thing that this hasn't gone exactly like Smile wanted is that Noun has been able to get a one-on-one engagement with the Kaba. This is not a 2-on-1. And Noun firing the AP into the Kaba's broadside, he's doing a noteworthy amount of damage. He's still going to go out here, I think.
Yeah, and the Kaba, as long as it survives, will be able to... No,
oh my goodness! He wins the duel.
He
wins the duel on 15 health.
Well, Classic Noun, GG's for that little engagement. That was pretty impressive shooting.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think Smile will be very happy with that exchange for sure.
That did not go at all like they planned. Now, they haven't killed Classic, but he is effectively out of the game. They're going to have to pull him off of this cap or surrender the point change of losing the ship completely. So Marceau doing what Marceau so often does that we see when they get low. If you can't finish him off, he's just going to run to the back of the map and hold those points on the board.
Yeah, Marceau does have 9-kilometer torpedoes, so he may be able to be used at some point to throw torpedoes at something that's pushing. But yeah, pretty much going to be out of the game. But that, of course, leaves Dead in the Daring on its own. To push 2 destroyers into a cap and not kill the destroyer that you went in to kill and lose one of your own, that's tough.
I mean, kudos to Classic Noun for managing that engagement as well as he did, and it feels bad that Smile was unable to. They obviously were angling for that 2v1 and didn't get it.
Okay, back down at the A cap, the Yu Yang is smoking up the Nevsky triple again. So they are starting to lay down some really good DPM on the Moskva and the Kremlin. I do feel like they need to, maybe it's just the shots they have, but they do need to focus a little bit on one ship. They are currently shooting both the Kremlin and the Moskva. But that may simply be down to which ones the Nevskys actually have vision of. There are torps coming towards that smoke screen, so they're going to have to be careful.
Game half over. VOR on a 360-point lead here on the strength of their early cap advantage and the early kill. But Smile not out of it. Like, their position today is very commanding, but they're all the way in the corner of the map. It's going to take them time to be relevant. And, I mean, they do hold the center of the board at the moment, so I don't know. You can see that VOR has repositioned. They brought the Moskva and the Ohio down and the Daring from the sea cap. So it's all going to happen. All the interesting action at this point is going to happen towards the middle of the map.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be dead Kamek right now. You've got the Moskva, the Daring, the Ohio, the Maso, and the Stalingrad all coming towards you. So we'll keep an eye on dead in the background. But I'm just watching the damage that these Nevskys are putting out against the Kremlin. They've got the Kremlin down to half health. The Moskva is down to went down to 2.5. Ohio in the background there. Best Nomi just took a torpedo from Daring. As Smile continue to hold this A cap here.
Yeah, they're really pushing dead Kamek here in this cap.
Daring smoking up.
They can still see him.
Yep. HE is probably going to finish dead Kamek off.
I think they're going to get him. Think they're going to get him. Yep. There he is.
So that leaves only John Sheridan there to actually defend. Although I've just noticed the Marceau of Farm is actually going up around the back. Behind the Moskva of VOR. So the Moskva will be able to radar him, but that's going to be annoying for VOR because they're going to have to turn around.
It will. They'll be able to back cap C, and that guy will be able to shell and get some free damage. But I mean, they've got a 400-point lead, a 2-ship lead. It's not a massive health advantage, but they have a very commanding board position. I mean, if I'm Smile, I'm not comfortable with this game right now. It feels like it's taken them too long to get this Nevsky push to kind of come together, and they have yet to achieve what they wanted out of it, which was overwhelming force to get a ship kill. They're still farming damage off this VOR Kremlin, and they haven't gotten him off the board yet.
Yeah, whether that initial turnaround was, as you say, planned, and they were expecting VOR to overextend into them, and then they trapped them in their little sort of funnel spider web, or whether that was just overly cautious. Either way, it didn't really work. And if they'd just pushed through, they would have been probably back through, and they would have killed most of the stuff that was at A from the VOR side, and they would be in B by now.
Excellent team play here from Renegade Shimakaze, smoking up Yenyaya's Kremlin as he runs up the extreme edge of the map here. As long as Yenyaya holds his fire, he'll be able to kind of hide in there for a little bit and preserve his health. They only need 60 more seconds for a VOR win here in Game 2.
Yenyaya is running a double fire, although Kremlin's DCP will probably come off cooldown pretty quickly if he hasn't burned through them all already under that Nevsky fire.
Nevskys do finally bag a kill there, stealing, getting the Moskva off the board. He kind of was in a position where he could not be salvaged. It was just a matter of time, I suppose.
The Moskva and the Daring have gone back up to try and find Farm, and the Mosso at the top, which does actually open up a little opportunity for Maniac Pro here to
and the Moskva's about to not have a great day. Taking 3 big French torpedoes on the broadside.
Yeah, that's not what you want.
They can see Farm now. They're basically selling this Marceau to buy time. They know exactly. they can't keep him, but the longer he sits there, the more time he buys this southern push to work. But the Stalingrad bags one of the Nevskys, and once again, VOR's starting to get a little uncomfortably close to victory. If you're Smile.
Yeah, 130-ish on the points clock there, 940 points. Farm will make it as difficult as possible for these two to take the kill. Ohio,
the longer he sits in there, the more time he buys, as now they're onto both caps.
Yeah, indeed.
Maniac Pros Ohio.
that actually stops the point income for VOR. So
Yes.
you can't win if you don't have, even if you're on 999, if you don't have any points income, you have to get kills to win. So they're going to have to go up and get farm, and there's no way that farm is going to come out.
Oh, and the Montana bags the Stalingrad, tying things up at 3 kills apiece. VOR bleeding health really badly. They do bag yet another Nevsky. So they have a ship. They retain that one ship lead.
Okay, Classic Noun here has a potential opportunity to put torpedoes against John Sheridan's Montana or the Ohio of Maniac Pro as it pushes. But they do not want to lose those points that are held up in that Marceau either.
This destroyer duel at sea may not go VOR's way either. It doesn't. They lose the daring. And now Asphodelis is going to have to try and deal with this Marceau by himself. That's going to be a challenge.
Now, Maniac, I think, going for the ram. It looks like he's turning it in.
I don't like this play. Why would you trade when you're down on points?
I mean, it kind of makes sense because then the Montana can easily push and kill that Marceau.
That's true.
And then they would hold the cap because that Ohio is the main thing holding that cap. Because Classic Noun only has 15 hit points, and against any battleship secondaries at close range, that's not a good position to be in.
Now, admittedly, VOR is in a very precarious position. They've led most of the game, but their surviving ships are basically well off the caps, with the exception of Asphodel's Moskva.
Montana's AP from B is on the way to the Moskva.
He's all right.
No, he's okay. Farm playing Benny Hill around this island here.
Cue Benny Hill theme.
Exactly. But the problem is that Farm has no way of spotting that Moskva unless he's spotted otherwise. So gonna have to.
Well, it's a very dangerous. Yeah, it's a very dangerous game he's playing. Right, he has to wonder where the Moskva is. But the Moskva only literally needs one shot. If he gets spotted and the Moskva can get 2 shells into him, he's out.
But this play here from Farm is absolutely critical if Smile wants to be in with a chance of winning. But I'm kind of surprised that the Moskva is just I suppose he's waiting for his radar to come off cooldown so he can push. Like they're both basically just going like forwards, backwards, just waiting for one of them to get spotted.
With 2.5 minutes left in the game, Smile has recovered. They are only 130 points down and gaining because they own the A cap and both other caps are contested. VOR's points games are frozen.
Asphodelis is pushing forward into torpedoes, takes Farm down. There are torpedoes coming. I think Asphodelis should be fine.
He's going to take one.
Yep, that's okay.
Right. He's going to live there. It's the Montana salvo coming in. That's the question. Can he survive the Montana salvo?
Yes.
He does.
Okay.
That's huge.
Marceau, Classic Noun, finally goes down in A to the Yu Yang. So, we have...
Wow, both teams just sucking wind here at the end.
Absolutely. There's only 3 ships left on each team. This is very unusual for King of the Sea. So, we've got 5 minutes left on the points clock for VOR, who currently hold 1 cap and the points advantage.
But there's only 90 seconds left in the game timer.
In the game, absolutely.
And if Smile can't bag a kill, B is contested, both teams are taking a cap, VOR has a 120-point lead. That's where this game's going to end in basically 90 seconds and nothing changes.
Yeah, this Shima needs to get out of B very, very quickly and get behind the island.
There's no need for them to hold this cap back. They'll still win even if they let them tick up B for a while. He's got to get out of there.
So he throws
knows
torps.
it too. He's bailing.
Yep, absolutely. Throws torps back towards John Sheridan, and will go. I don't think it matters which way he turns. Just needs to get round behind the island here somehow, to make sure that
they caught a brief glimpse of him, but he's got cover now. It looks like.
Yeah, it looks like Renegade is safe. Russian Admiral desperately chasing this Shimakaze. Shimakaze even cheekily taking a little shot there.
Oh, look at that! That is gutsy.
He's got their health, and hopefully he's running a detonation signal.
I would not invite those Nevsky shells to change my game, let me tell you.
Well, that's true.
He's doing it anyway.
Yep. That's pretty cheeky from Renegade there. I'd imagine the caller is probably shouting at him right now not to do that.
Indeed. 30 seconds to go, and VOR looks like they are going to hang on by their fingernails to claim Game 2 and force a Game 3 in this match.
18 seconds left on the game clock. It's easy to lose track of that game clock when you're looking at the points clocks. That's 12, 10, Yeah, it's
It's
looking
over.
like it's for VOR, and that's going to equal it up. So we're currently 1-0 to Smile. It's going to bring it to 1-1. So we will be going into a decider round here for VOR versus Smile. And the next map is going to be Land of Fire, chosen by the bot. So we will see when we come back for this decider who is going to go through. Is it going to be VOR or is it going to be Smile? And with that, we'll go back to Chrysanthos for the analysis.